Okay, I'm sorry about that. Thank you for joining. If you're joining now live with me, tell me where you're from and what's your name so I can say hi to you because I can also see it on my live chat here. And then if you have any question, just feel free to type it on the chat. I would love to learn about you, hear about you, and see where you're from. So for those who are joining, thank you so much for joining. And my name is Becky Choi. I am a postpartum corrective exercise specialist. Probably you know that if you're on my channel. And I'm also a registered holistic nutrition and health coach. So I'm registered in Canada. But in today's sessions, I know many of you guys asking me about diastasis recti. Specifically today, I wanted to talk about the upper diastasis recti, the upper bulginess, like the flare ribs, all of that. And then and I got another questions about belly wrapping. So I wanted to talk about belly wrapping as well. So yeah, type to me. See, I want to know where you're from. So don't be shy. Just feel free to type in the chat. And then I will just get started in about 20 seconds. I just wanted to make sure that everything is working okay for me on my end here. But yes. Yeah, when you want something to work and it's not cooperating with you, it's quite nerve-wracking. Okay. Let me try to do this. Okay. Okay, let's try to do this. Okay, so, okay, I saw somebody from Meisha from Michigan. Hi, is it cold there? Because it's like negative 24 degree here. I don't know about Fahrenheit, but Celsius, it's like deep freeze here. So it's really cold. Now, for those who are joining, if you do want to kind of do a workout session with me, if you have something around you, this is something that I would maybe want from you, like a strap, like a resistant band. And then I'll be moving my camera a lot, so don't worry if I'm not in the right angle. Maybe a ball, and then maybe a yoga block or shoe box. Like I have a shoe box over there, and then maybe a yoga block. So then you can do some workout with me together. But if you don't have it, that's fine. That's okay. Now I wanted to just talk about the flare ribs here, right? So some people. When we come to diastasis recti, a lot of people, they just focus on the belly button area, and then they would just measure this area by the fingers gap or by the depthness of it, right? So you might be going to the physio and it would put fingers like this. Oh, you have 3 fingers gap or 2 fingers or 1 finger. And then sometimes they don't even check the depth. So it is something that's very important for you just to know what your starting point is, especially if your goal is to heal it. But the definition of healing, how do you know it's healing? When you don't know what your starting point is, right? So lie down, lift your head up, put your hands in. Today, I'm not going to go into that just to measure. There are a lot of video on my YouTube channel to talk about that, but it is easy. But not only do you want to measure the belly button diastasis recti, you do also want to measure the upper diastasis recti. So what I recommend is to put 3 finger about this distance. So the top finger, which is right here, this is where you wanted to measure the diastasis recti to see if there is a gap and a depth. So it's the same method of measuring it, just lying down, curl your head up, and then put your finger to see if you can feel a gap. A lot of the people, maybe not a lot, but I would say half of my clients, they would feel some sort of a diastasis recti up there. And for a few people, for a few moms that like on a regular basis that I help, they would have a wider upper diastasis recti, maybe as wide as the belly button. Usually the belly button is the worst, but up here, right, again, 3 fingers, and then you can measure this right here, this distance here. Usually maybe 2 fingers. Sometimes I've seen 3 fingers up here. Usually it doesn't really go past that. And then also the depthness of it, if you look at this way, if you point it inside, like how deep can it sink in the finger, right? You don't want to do it like this. This is not possible for you to sink in the fingers in here, but you will do it lying on the floor, right? Now, just so because I'm onto this topic about measuring. So again, same thing. If you wanted to measure your lower diastasis recti, right, to see if you have a lower diastasis recti, put the 3 fingers below that belly button. So the last finger right here, you will want to check if there's a diastasis recti. Keep in mind, if you have a C-section scar here, it's going to be tough for you to feel the tightness or like the gap, sorry, because the C-section stitch everything together, right? So that's why you might be thinking you don't have a lower diastasis recti, but you actually do. You just cannot feel it because the surgeon stitched everything back to you together after the C-section. Now, I'm not talking about the lower diastasis recti today, then this session will go too long, but I do want to talk about the upper diastasis recti up here, right? Now, this has largely due to the ribs angle of how your ribs are flaring out, if your ribs are flaring out at all. So if I am putting my fingers in, so usually you would want to put a pen and then draw a mark. So like if I'm lying down, I would be drawing the line of the ribs to see where the angle is. But I'm not going to do that today again because I don't want to make a mess on my tummy. There is a video on my channel, but you can draw a line to see where your angle sits on the ribs. So usually, okay, if I draw a line, maybe it's at a 90-degree angle. So you see this is a 90-degree angle, right? So if the ribs ideally should be sitting like that. But sometimes, throughout pregnancy, you can appreciate the baby kind of push upward, you push out the flaring out your ribs. And then also, if you have a shorter torso, looks like I have a shorter torso today because of the way I dress. But like for somebody who has like really short torso, usually moms who are on a shorter side, maybe under 5 feet, 5'1", like those moms, those are the types of moms that I actually see more upper diastasis recti. And then because they don't really have room for the baby, so all the room to accommodate a growing baby, it's just like right here, right? Versus somebody who are taller with longer torso, the baby might be more in the middle and lower. But maybe, or in some cases, the baby just wanted to snug up and they want to be hanging out around here. And that's where like your ribs are flaring out. And so what happens when you do flare out your ribs, this here, the back here, tends to also arch. So arch up like that. So you can see my ribs here, right? You can see this rib here flaring out, right? And they might not notice this because if you do have that flare ribs and you're walking around like this, right? This nugget in the back is squeezing together, like the spine of the nuggets squeezing together. You're walking like this. You see my ribs are widening, right? Widening even more, pulling this 3 fingers gap up here, like 3 fingers distance up here, the upper diastasis recti even more, versus somebody with the ribs down and in with the 90-degree angle. This is where a normal angle should be when you do have a normal ribs without flaring. So this is the reason why posture, right? Posture, the way you nugget your spine, right? Being able to move your spine more thoroughly would be really important. Be paying attention to your posture throughout the day. But also, okay, how can we bring this ribs down and in together? How can we just, besides just paying attention to my posture, maybe doing some stretching and all of that, okay, how can we bring this down and in together? And that's where I kind of wanted to do some exercises with you today on that to help you to bring it in. But so far, do you have any questions? I know you have this, about 6 of you on the live here, so I wanted to see, if you have any follow-up questions on that. So that would be good. I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. So now with the rib flares, what are we gonna do? The first thing is to having awareness of where if your ribs are even expanding and moving down together. Okay, so what we can do is to do an exercise lying on the floor. You don't need any equipment here, but I'm gonna bring this down and lower this. So you're just gonna do a side lying here. I know, pretty sexy, right? Okay, So you can just lie down. Actually, if you have a pillow, even better for you. Okay, so what I want you to do is to actually, before you do that, just make sure you're not like, okay, hold on. Just make sure you're not like arching your back like this. Just bring your knees at about 90-degree angle. Just have something comfy to support your neck here. Okay, now place your finger at the last rib. Like you can feel the ribs, right? Dig it in. Don't, if you're feeling pain, of course you stop there. But put your fingers here. Okay, now take an inhale for me. I have talked about a lot of 360 breath in my channel, and so this is also part of that 360 breath. Why 360 breathing is really important to help you to heal, and that's the first step, preparation step to help you to for engaging your core, to work on your core. So what you wanted to do here is that you place your finger down here, and then you take an inhale through your nose. Inhale. Now, can you feel that breath is pushing my finger out of the ribs? Okay, try again. Inhale. Like, can you feel that finger is like, okay, there's air filling up this area. It's pushing my fingers out. Okay, when you inhale through your nose, your chest, your belly, your back, and your side are expanding at the same time, meaning that breath sending in is all around the body. That's why it's called a 360 breath. Some people also call it diaphragmatic breathing, which is really where it is, because the diaphragm is all around, right? It's attached to the all around is right here. So you really wanted to send the diaphragm down, expand, lengthen your pelvic floor. But what we are just feeling here, I just want you to pay attention, because when you focus on something, it will click. So pay attention to the side of your ribs here. Inhale. Can you feel that finger popping out, like coming out? Now here, I want you to put your palm down here, like just feeling the ribs here. You're not pressing onto it. You just want you to feel, okay, your ribs are right here. Okay, so when you inhale, can you also feel that whole side of the ribs are expanding? Okay, try again. Now on the exhale right now, I just want you to let go and feel that ribs are also coming down with you. Maybe you might not feel it, so it's a very subtle move because we're not actively using the ribs yet, and I'm going to show you in just a moment how we do that. Inhale. Exhale. Can you feel that rising up motion of the ribs and then coming down as you exhale? Inhale. And then exhale. Can you feel that? Now this side, which is my right side, might be harder to feel than my left side. So why don't we go on to the other side, and then we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, maybe I would just give you a little bit of a different angle this time. Okay, I'm gonna put my ribs right here, fingers right here again. So inhale. Can you feel that fingers kind of coming out, popping out? Inhale. Okay, good. Okay, now put the whole palm on the ribs here. Inhale. Exhale. Can you feel the ribs coming down, like going to the floor when I exhale, when you exhale? Inhale. Rising up, right? Exhale. Okay, now I want you to just note the difference to see if there's any difference in terms of the left side and the right side, which side might be feeling it's stuck. So some people would have that feeling of like, oh, it feels stuck. I'm not feeling the ribs are moving with me. I am, it's not really moving. So that will take some time. Oftentimes you will think that, oh, I just need to do this exercises like 10 times and you will feel it. It's actually not that simple for some people. Some people it is. Some people they get it like pretty much instantly, but some people will take maybe a few days and even up to a couple of weeks to really feel what they are actually wanting to feel, because it also starts with the breath, right? If you have been chest breathing, if your breath is not sending down here, then your ribs are not going to move. If you're, for example, if you're So like a lot of the breath is in the chest here, in my throat, right? This area here, my shoulders. So this is where like, okay, the breath is not really going into the diaphragm. Some people call this, or another version of that is like vacuum breathing. Vacuum breathing is the opposite of descending that diaphragm down. The vacuum breathing is actually pushing the diaphragm down because it's trying to scoop up your pelvic floor and push everything up. So we don't want it to do that. And some people might just send the breath all to the belly to have like an extending belly, like a belly inflate like a balloon. And then so that will kind of skip that ribs part. And that's why we want to do a side linely. So then you can feel the breath going into the side and then coming down. Now, here is what I really want you to do as you're practicing that breath here. And I'm going to go down to lie down on the floor again. But on the exhale now, remember earlier I say, okay, don't do anything yet. Just like allow your ribs to come down and see how you're feeling. But on the exhale now, I want you to be more intentions with the exhale. So now on the exhale, I want you to say the sound ha, H-A. Okay, it's like you're sighing, oh, it's a long day, like that. So, but much, much, much slower when you do that on the exhale together. So inhale first and then exhale. So imagine, not imagine, you can do this with me here. So like, ideally you don't want it to just do it sitting yet, because if you're already feeling it's quite difficult for you to feel the ribs, definitely do it on the floor. But I just want you to just practice with you first, right, before I lie down. But like on the exhale would be ha. So inhale, right, the expansion, and then very, very slowly. You see my ha, it took, I don't know, I didn't count, maybe 6-7 seconds. So it's a really, really slow ha. This will allow the ribs to really pressing onto your lungs here, right? This is your lungs here, like allowing the ribs to come down. So when you inhale again, like when you ha, and all the way, the ribs are tight and nicely and at a 90-degree angle now. Now you inhale, would expand, and then okay, so I'm gonna do that with you on the floor. Okay, so inhale. Okay, you can put your palms right here just so that it's really good feedback to send to your brain that, okay, I'm working on this, like right here, I'm working on this. I'm not working on my butt. I'm not working on my pelvic floor. I'm only wanting to work on my ribs and this side of the ribs. So that's why it's good for you to have the feedback here. Inhale. Okay, inhale through your nose, right? And then so that was a really, really slow, and I literally ha every ounce of breath that I have in my lungs until I couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, I'm gonna choke. So like, you saw I was gasping at the end. So that's where I really want you to feel. When you feel it, you should be feeling, oh wow, I actually find it. Like I have muscles. I'm actually able to feel the ribs. And there's a difference when you're inhaling to the side and exhaling. Now, if you have that flare ribs like I was talking about, and that's why we're working on this to help you with the upper diastasis recti or with the flare ribs, okay, right? So we definitely have a lot of rooms to help it to bring it down and to work the middle, to work just like right now, the ribs are like tilted. It should be more like this angle, right? Right now it's like flare out. So for some people, it's very obvious because they can see the ribs are just popping out. You don't see it on me because it's hard. You don't see it on me, so I can't really show you. And so, but for some people who have that flare ribs, so now you can really find it and then bring it in. And you can actually help yourself by curling up a bit so that you're in that position to help the ribs to go even in more, right? When you're in this position, right, bring your knees upper, and then rounding your upper back, not necessarily like rounding like your turtleneck like that, but like rounding your upper back, and then to help you. So try again with me in here. Inhale, exhale. I can actually feel that muscles like working even without me touching it. And one last thing is that you don't want it to like so quickly, because when you do so quickly, then it will send the breath down and this will bulges out and you might be bearing down, and that might cause some issue with the pelvic floor. If you already have a weak pelvic floor, like a loose pelvic floor, you do not want to do and then like this is gonna be very easily bulges out and pushes down. You can see I have lots of loose skin, and that is the reason why, of course, my pregnancy, but then also the reason why is that I didn't do the exercises correctly in the first place, and that really screwed up the connective tissues, the muscles, and it's just like that now. Okay, so that is the main thing when it comes to how to bring the ribs angle, but not necessarily just doing it on the sideline. And once you are able to feel that your ribs are expanding and able to compress, there are so many things you can do. So like, for example, you can do a hands and knees, right? Hands and knees, and then instead of like just a flat back, you can actually adjust your position to bring this. Also, this is good for your posture too, because your posture tends to dip down up on the bra line when normally your neck should be rounding down here, not up here. So you wanted to just pretend there's a string pulling yourself, right? So then your ribs is also going in now, and then when you go to this position and you do a inhale, you can feel so much more, because now you're in even better position for you, because this is where you can manipulate your spine so that it's not dipping like this, or it's not what do I see? Oh yeah. So usually maybe like rounding too much here and but it's still arching up here. I cannot get into that position. But some people I've seen it's like that. Maybe they have a posterior pelvic tilt, right? And then they still and then they have like a upper like an upper dip in here. So then you can just literally pretending there's a string pulling you, right? Look at the mirror to see what you're doing here, and then inhale. And then you can feel it with your ribs, with your hand if you want to. And then just keep doing that. Now, last thing I wanted to show you, again, like you can do this like that. You can, there's another one that is 90-90. Maybe I can quickly show you what that means is 90-90. Because 90-90, this is my kid's son playroom / my workout room. So that's why you see toys and gymnastic bar there. Okay, so now I have a wall here, and I'm gonna put my foot on the wall, and then it's gonna be similar too. So, because the reason, this is called 90-90. The reason why I'm gonna put my foot on the wall is to help you to relieve the hip flexor, and also the hamstring that stretches you, that is pulling your back and the front. So with your foot on the wall, it's gonna help take away that away from the equation, so you don't have to think about your lower body. And that's why this exercise is very effective, especially people with lots of postural issue. And a lot of moms have postural issues from breastfeeding, from being on the desk so much for work, computer job, right, on the phone. So now go on to the side, put your feet on the wall, right, at a 90-degree angle. So not like this and not like this, just 90-degree angle. Okay, now one thing I want you to keep in mind is to have your back touching on the floor. Now if you're already here and then you can see the ribs popping out like that, right, one reason could be because your back is not touching the floor. So make sure you're adjusting yourself, okay? Give yourself a moment here. Make sure you're adjusting yourself, and then see if you can, see without doing any exercises, if you can bring the ribs kind of down and in. Now, if you're like, Becky, there's no way that I can get into this position without my back being like this. So I've seen this in people with scoliosis, right? And people who have just really, really bad upper hunch. You will want to put pillow underneath your shoulders, and your head. 2 or 3 pillows so that you can get into these positions, okay? One pillow popper usually don't do that if you have that kind of bad position, posture, I mean. So here, because now you take away the equations from the hamstring and the tightness here, so now your back is touching and now you can feel the ribs, both ribs now. It's not just the side line where we're only working on one side. So you can really feel that ribs. Again, you will inhale, right? Now you can actually also feel if your breath is sending to the mat, okay? I'll try again, I'll show you here. Inhale. Now, do you see? It's very slow. I'll do one more time, but do you pay attention to me? Can you see my back is kind of expanding onto the mat, but you also don't see that my belly is inflated like a balloon. If you do, that's why belly wrapping, I'm going to talk about it very soon. The tight yoga pants will help you, and because that will really put some pressure on it, or you can just kind of put your palm in here. I'm just going to not block myself so you can see me better. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, so that's also something you can definitely do at home. So this will work on both sides of the flare ribs and into that posture where, okay, it's very good for you to not have to rely on the back. Okay, can you hear me now? I think my mic is like off battery. I'm sorry. How long has it been out? How long has it been out? Like a couple minutes, I hope. Hopefully that's it. Oh. Now I'm using the mic from my camera, but can you still hear me okay though? Hmm. Okay. Well, I think the last few minutes I was talking about the 90-90 breathing on the wall, right? And I think maybe you missed that part where I was talking about if you have one-sided rib flares, because the organ is on this side more, and so a lot of people maybe have ribs flare on this side, which is wider than this side, and then it's totally normal. Maybe like an angle is 90-degree on this side or 45-degree on this side and 90-degree on this side, and so you want to do the side line on this side, face this side, facing the ceiling, and bring the ribs down. So you can work on that, this side facing the ceiling more, the side line to work that side. But if you have both sides that are kind of flared, then the 90-90 on the wall is actually quite useful so that you can work on both sides together. Can you still hear me okay? I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. I actually did wanted to just show you, you know how I say that we need a ball in the beginning. I don't think I have enough time for that, and maybe a resistant band. So this is, I want you to, you don't have to use a tennis ball. You can use any ball, but tennis ball is actually quite good. You can use a massage chair if you have a massage chair at home. Just the idea is really to help you to release tightness, especially around here, right? You would do it on the wall, like, okay, I'll quickly show you. So you will put it on the wall here, and you sit up, and then you roll. You know, like the bear. I don't know if you have black bear in the area, but the black bear likes to do like that, and they dance on the tree. You're literally doing the same thing. So you're okay. Then you're putting. I put it around here, and then I just roll it like on the wall. So wherever you feel that there's tightness, here or there, whichever, this will help you to release the knot on the on your back, so that the rib flares can help go into. Because sometimes it's not the rib flare or the ribs is not listening to you, but it's also how tight your back is. It's common when your chest is weak, you haven't worked out, you haven't really worked out on your chest. This side is not, okay, you're not using me, then I'm just gonna hunch more, I'm just gonna round my shoulder more, and this will use more work to hold on to your posture. Oh, you're not using me here, okay. And so that's why you wanted to just use either a massage gun will work, or massage ball, or like I say, or you can have your husband to massage you. So that's a great bonding time between the both of you. So releasing tightness is super helpful. Now, one last thing, if you wanted to just add a little bit more resistance, you know how earlier we were just talking about heart breathing and just breathing work, but if you wanted to add a little bit more resistance to it, because essentially the rib flare is attached to your external obliques. So the external obliques are right here, and the internal obliques are here, right? This is when you see the line, like the deep line down, like, okay, let me just kind of flex. If you see the line here, you will see that this is the external obliques, and this is attached to the ribs. The internal obliques are where your lower core, lower abdomen. So this is where when people do more lower leg exercises, or like when people do leg lift, heel slide, right? Those kind of traditional diastasis recti exercises, they're really working on the lower part of the body, which is the lower bulge or lower this part, right? But if you do want to work on the ribs, you need to work on the external obliques. So using a resistant band could be helpful. So this is a one-sided resistant band. You can attach it to a door, you can attach it to something that doesn't move a little bit higher up. So pretend I'm just attaching, you can just use it with your hand. Now there are different intensity with the resistant band, and just use one that is kind of suitable for you where you're at. And then you hold it on one side, don't move this hand, and then you're gonna pull it, okay? Inhale, exhale. You can do the half with this one. Usually, otherwise I would do a different cueing, maybe lifting a blueberry up, but because we're working on the flare ribs, you will just use a half breath. Inhale, exhale. Now hold it there, right? Until nothing left, hold it there, right? So you really feel that this side, the ribs and the muscles up here is really trying to bring it in and down. For some people though, you will have to be careful. If it's really too much for you, you will find that the whole side is swishing in, right? But then this thing bulges out. It happens to me, like earlier, right? In the first few years even. Inhale. Exhale. So you really wanted to just don't give up so soon, like in terms of the breath. Don't give up like after 3 seconds. You really wanted to go all the way, bring it all the way, hold it there, hold it 2 more 3 seconds until like you really can. And this is where the magic will happen. It really holds the ribs in place before you let go, right? And think about this, if you're doing this exercise 6 to 8 times, maybe you do it 2-3 rounds, it's not really a lot of time in your day, but the rest of the day, your ribs have continued to flare out. This is a little bit of a tug of war, but that's why working on the posture, having awareness throughout the day is important, and that will lead me into belly wrapping. Okay, so I know a lot of questions about belly wrapping and what is good and which one and all of that. If you have been on my channel, you know which one I will recommend, and I'm going to show it to you. And I wanted to just show you the differences on like other types of reps and why they might not be as good. Because I have about 10 more minutes. Okay, so now this this is actually a belly binder. But if you've been on Amazon, everybody shops on Amazon, the really common one is the 3 wraps bind. They will have a bind like this. Maybe I'll just use this. Okay. They will have a bind, a middle wrap. Okay, this is a waist trainer. This is not the wrap I'm talking about, but I don't have that wrap. But they have a wrap that is 3 bind. Okay. So 1 in the belly, 1 in the pelvis, and 1 at the upper ribs. Okay. So I pretend this is the lower pretend this is the middle. Now, or just think of this as a waist trainer. Just pretend I'm using 1 bind, okay? Because the one I see on Amazon, and I get commonly asked about that wrap, is that's good or not. Now, if you're using 1 bind, I can't do this because I don't have a belly. I'm going to show you with the belly. Well, how's it going to work? Okay, give me a second. Because that is not going to be realistic. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, I have Melody here. my daughter's purse. Okay, I'm going to just shove it in. Okay, so then now kind of now, right? I have a belly now, maybe not so low. Okay, but like if you have diastasis, if you have a bulge, you know those trainers, they come to you, oh, wear this, commercial model, right? They show you the wrap. Of course they don't have a belly. Of course it will look nice and it looks like, they shrink their waist, but like we're talking about having belly here. So, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be wearing a belly wrap, correct? So now if I have a belly like this, okay, pretend that's the kind of the belly. If I'm just wearing the middle wrap or the waist trainer, traditional waist trainer, so what will happen is if I wrap, okay, done, right? And then I put the style up. Now, can you see that I have a gap here? Right? I have a gap here. And also, I have a gap up here, right? Or I'm putting a lot of pressure because I am like cinching my waist, my midline here, and I'm forcing a lot of pressure down here. And I even kind of have a gap here that is forcing a lot of pressure. So this is very uncomfortable. I can already feel that it's like pushing into my stomach, pushing into my guts. So it's not useful. Now, they also have a lower wrap, right? I'm talking about the one on Amazon right now. They have a lower wrap. That may be like another wrap that goes underneath. Okay, it's maybe not this thick, right? They go underneath and wraps around. Okay, it helps a bit more. Yeah, it does support that more. But I can only imagine, and I hear that feedback from my clients, it's very, very rigid. The materials double, one material here, another materials here. It's very rigid. It makes you really hot, uncomfortable. So you're not really going to want to wear it for a long time, because when you do wear a wrap, type of wraps that I'm going to recommend, you're going to wear it for 24 hours, 7 days a week, meaning you're wearing it to sleep, you're wearing it all day, except for when you're showering, when you're washing the wrap, right? So can you wear this? 3 types of wrap. There's another wrap that goes up here. Can you wear this type of wrap for that long? Probably not. You don't want it to do that. You'll be taking this wrap off like after 2 hours or so. So it's very uncomfortable. Unless you're okay with it, then yeah, you could wear it. But an easier solution is, it's the bellies. So this is the company that I've been using for my own postpartum journey. It was first recommended to me by my physiotherapist. And then I just love their innovations of the design so much that I love recommending this wrap to any moms now who wants to heal the diastasis recti, and if they really do have that bulge, because some moms they have diastasis recti, but they don't necessarily have a bulge. So they don't need a wrap, even if they have 3-4 fingers. But if they don't have a bulge, there's no really need for that. With the wrap is to support you for three main things. Posture, because with the backing here, I'll show you in just a second. With the backing here that goes onto your back, it will help you to maintain your posture better. You will have less back pain. The second reason is to help manage your core pressure. With the wrap or with the other wraps that I was showing you, well, the other wraps, I don't want to say for them because sometimes it might be causing too much pressure. But with this wrap, it's going to wrap around, hug your body, and then if you have bulging belly that pushes out to the front, it will hug you, right? And then you can have more breath, sending it to the side, sending it into your back, sending it to your side, and sending it to your back. So this will help you to distribute your core pressure more evenly. Instead of just when you're breathing, when you're standing, we have pressure excess in our core. And without the belly wrap, it's like a wall. There's a wall there. Okay, that pressure cannot just go into the front. But without a wall, this part is the weakest part of your abdomen, correct? Because you have spine in the back, you do have the obliques muscles, and they are not as stretched as the front of the muscles, right? So when you don't have anything there, or like don't have a wrap there, that pressure would just keep pushing to the front. So that's why yoga pant works similar purposes, is to help to kind of hold everything in place. But with the wrap, it will help even more. So, and the last benefits, I think I said 3 benefits, is to help, is to be able to use your core and feel for your core more efficiently when you do have a wrap. So I'm gonna place the backing like this, right? And I do want to bring it down to pretty low here, like maybe just above the knot, and then I'm going to crisscross, because you cannot really hear me, so I'm going to just speak a little louder. So crisscross, right? And then I'm going to bring it over and then attach it to the back, okay? And then so this way, you know how earlier I was showing you that wraps earlier, like, oh, you know, it's putting a little pressure down unless you wrap the lower wrap. So this wrap, because it's a forced wrap design, and my bulge is up here, right? You can still see my bulge. I'm going to show you. So I can just support the pelvis, and then I am going to slide this up, right? I'm still going to wrap everything, right? I'm going to slide this up, and now I can actually wrap the whole body, the whole abdomen. And if you do have flare ribs, you can actually use this wrap to maneuver and also just manipulate that area a little bit more, just depending on how you strap it. And you can see, it took me like 5 seconds to strap it. You can actually help to bring the ribs coming in close together. But this wrap, I wouldn't say it will help too much with the upper flare ribs. It's more about the middle of the abdomen. That's where most people have trouble with anyways, is the middle of the abdomen where it's pushing out a lot. Upper will help a lot, but also help a lot with like supporting the organs down here where your pelvis. So that's why I do recommend it. If you have a 12% coupon code, I will link it in the description link down below, so you could get it later on. Especially if you feel like, okay, there's no control in the front of the abdomen, you can't really bring it in, and you really want to work on your posture, this is really helpful. Okay, melody out. I think that's about it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Let me know if you have any questions. And I do have a program, and so that's the Tummy Warrior Lights Coaching Program. So if you do more hands-on approach, where I work with you one-on-one, I assess you where you're at, whether you have the flare ribs, diastasis recti, how wide, how deep. I wanted to take a look at your posture, take a look at your ability right now, your cardio level, your strength level, because I do a video assessment to see where you're at, and then I start programming the workouts, everything inside my app. So if you're interested, you can look at watch that video that I talk about how this program works in terms of nutrition, exercises, and the accountability components, and then you can learn more about it, and then you can actually sign up to work with me, and then we can get you to in great shape and also have that confidence back. I know as a mom, we lose all our confidence after a while, and having a good health, not just about the body, but having good health inside and outside, mentally and physically, it's going to be so it will feel like a night and day difference for you, because I was in your shoes when I was not looking good and want to see the mirror. Every time I pass by the mirror, I just kind of ignore it because I didn't really want to see myself in there, and that really did not feel good. So yes, I will link all the things down in the description below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and so sorry for the sound that went out earlier. I think I should have charged my microphone before I double check that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you so much. Bye. See you next time. How do I turn